Stories are not mere descriptions of what happened in the past. Stories can create our future, the future of an individual, the future of a community, and the future of a whole nation. What would your story be like if you were the writer of your own story? We are not victims of fate. Each one of us have the power to shape our future. And a powerful way to shape our future is by rewriting our stories. Yes, we have a story, which is a diary of our past, but we also have the ability to shape our future by writing our diary for the future. Stephen Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about this in the second habit, the habit of beginning with the end in mind. He encourages us to write our own eulogy, and I think this is a powerful way to redirect our lives into a much better future than what we would do if we continue to live day in and day out as we are living now. Stephen Covey recommends that you write your own eulogy from the perspective of a few different types of people. First, he asks you to write your own eulogy, imagining that it was written by a very close family member like a child or a spouse. Second, a member of the extended family. Third, someone who works with you. And fourth, your best friend. And finally, a beneficiary from a charitable organization where you may have volunteered. When I'm writing my own eulogy from the perspective of my near and dear ones, I use the be, do, have model. What would they say about what I had in my life, what I had achieved? For this, I use the 8 pillars of life. What have I achieved physically? I would like them to say that I lived a wonderful life because I was healthy and energetic right to the last day of my life. I was disciplined when it came to exercise and eating. So I used the 8 pillars of life as a model to have them describe what were the results that I had in my life, how successful I was financially, and how much wealth I had built up, and how well read and educated I was, and how I had fulfilling relationships all around. I had a great career. Even though I lived to a ripe old age, I remained working until the last day of my life. I had great emotional intelligence. I never really lost it. I was always composed and calm and courageous when it came to facing adversities in life. Yeah, you get the point, right? So I add more structure to the description of people about me in my eulogy, using the 8 pillars of life to describe the outcomes, how I was always game for a good time, and I love to travel, and I had traveled to most parts of the world, or many parts of the world. Yeah, so that's using the 8 pillars to describe my story when my end has come. And the next one, this is a be, do, have model. So I just gave you examples of what goes into the have, using the 8 pillars of life as guide. And then we have the do part. What did I do? I was a good mother, so I was always around when my children needed me. I was a great spouse because I was always encouraging, and I was a pillar of strength, spoke loving words of encouragement, and was supportive of my spouse's dreams in his life. I was a great teacher. This is my career I'm talking about. I would have my colleagues say that I was always understanding and supporting and guiding and teaching and learning and humble. Yeah, all the things that I would do. Yeah, so the have, the do, and in order to have, I had to do, right? So I described the do, and of course, in order to be able to do these things, I would have to be a certain type of person. When it came to the do, we are actually using the 9 layers of self as matter and energy, as you can see. Yeah, so somewhere there it actually moves into the realm of the be, because when we talk about character, personality, and mindset, that's already the be. Yeah, so we don't do anything in those areas, but those are aspects within ourselves that becomes the substratum from where all our actions arise, yeah, all our behaviors arise, yeah, in terms of the outer layers of ourself as matter. And then we also, for the be, can use the 5 dimensions of self-mastery. Yeah? So here we can talk about I would have, I think, my best friend say how I always placed a lot of emphasis on meditating, teaching others how to meditate, how to develop that perception, the ability to perceive beyond our senses. This is what we call extrasensory perception, yeah? That I had this ability, that I was intuitive and I was creative, and I could always solve problems, not only for myself, but for my best friends, for my family members, and for my colleagues. Yeah, so this is what helps me lend structure to my great story that I write, supposing that my near and dear ones would speak based on this story about me, and every day is lived finding out how I can become, how I can do, and how I can have these things that my near and dear ones will tell as a story about my life when my end is near. But apart from writing my own story, which is a terminal story, a long-term achievement kind of eulogy, I also like to write my future diary for every year, now that we are in the 4th quarter of the year, I like to start writing my story for how my year would come to an end next year. In other words, how my year 2023 would come to a close. What would I have achieved? What would I have done? And what kind of a person I would have become in terms of my mindset, my personality, my character across all the 5 dimensions of my being. Yeah, so this is a powerful thing to do, and let me leave you with one last sharing, which is I started doing this when I was 32 years old, and I am now into my 24th year of doing this, writing my own story for the future year. And of course, my eulogy, my terminal story, keeps changing, because after starting to write my goals, I realized that my life is a lot more progressive. And when I first started writing the goals, I still have those in my goal book. When I revisit and look at those goals, I can't help but realize that I had such a limited scope of imagination that I thought I could do so little, but I have accomplished a lot more than what I could imagine. And this is what writing down your goal does to you. It propels you into life on the fast track. You achieve more. So start doing it now. I hope this video was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye and have a great week ahead. See you again soon.